Hi everybody, welcome back to Sipscity. Welcome back to City Skylines After Dark, now with a couple of extra little bits from Snowfall, since Snowfall is also out. Anyway, we're coming back to Sipscity because, of course, we don't want to forget about Sipscity because Sipscity is meant to be the best city. However, the city that I made in Snowfall, called Fargo, which is like a fake Fargo, is, I would say, a lot better than this city, which is a shame actually, because Sipscity is meant to be like our big, huge flagship city. We wanted to make a cool strip with hotels and casinos and everything on it. We wanted it to be like a tourist leisure city filled with prostitutes and other fun things to do. And it's sort of going okay. I mean, technically it's working, but it could look nicer. So anyway, I decided to rip out a lot of the gutty works and make it a bit better. So I had a pretty big job ahead of me. I wanted to revamp Sipscity, at least the sort of core or city center of Sipscity as it was. So with this big job ahead of me, I had to prepare for a time lapse. And the only way to prepare for a time lapse, in my opinion, is to first crack your knuckles, because it's a big job. So cracking your knuckles before a big job is a fairly common thing to do. Second thing, of course, was I put on some of my favorite jazz music to keep me motivated throughout. And then I got to work. So first up, I decided to sort out the highway, or the lack of highway, I guess you could say, in Sipscity. So currently in Sipscity, or as it was at this point, there was only one real entrance into the sort of city center of Sipscity, and one exit from the city center of Sipscity. So that was already causing traffic problems. At 17,000 people, that wasn't going to end well, especially as the population started to grow further, as we sort of started branching out into the burbs and beyond in Sipscity. So the solution was to create a couple of dingle-dongers. Of course, keeping with the theme of trying to be as European as possible, using like the European tile set in Sipscity. We have a very American-looking city in Sipscity. It's very grid-based. There's not a single roundabout. And one thing that sort of defines European cities, in my point of view, in my opinion, is roundabouts. So we added some roundabouts below the highways, especially the highway that sort of goes in between the city center and what was farms, which is now gone. So we made some dingle-dongers with some on-ramps and off-ramps, easy ways for people to get onto these little roundabouts that are underneath the highway and go into the direction that they want to. So we've added some 6-lane roads off of the dingle-dongers as well, so that people have lots of room to drive into the city, lots of lanes to choose from. So some people will obviously stick to their favorite lanes, and other people will just choose a random lane, stick to it, and cause a whole bunch of traffic problems in the process, which is fine. So I didn't want to really change it around too much. I wanted to somewhat stick to the original design, or at least the original planned layout for where the strip and everything was going to be. But it was important to sort of make the strip look a little bit nicer, more enticing, I guess, for the tourists to flock in so that they could stay at hotels, go to the party zone and have a party all day and all night, find a lot of prostitutes and stuff like that. But also wanted to make it so that the streets and everything that they had to walk down to get to all those things were nice, and that there was parks and paths and trees and stuff everywhere. So that was pretty important. It was quite fun actually putting this particular neighborhood together, which has like a big roundabout in the middle of it. I got to a point with stuff while I was designing Sipscity, or redesigning it if you like, where I sort of said to myself, we need roundabouts to make it look more European, and I only had one roundabout and then two other roundabouts underneath the highway. So it just seemed logical at the time to just randomly add another roundabout. No real reason, except for to make a neighborhood look somewhat presentable. So with the strip redesigned and some of the roads fixed and whatnot, the next step was to destroy the burbs. As much as everybody would like to destroy the burbs in real life, because I don't know if you've ever flown over the burbs before, it does look like something that would be nice to build, much like a mountain of soup cans. You know how they make those displays at a grocery store? When you look at the burbs from a plane, it's that same sort of mentality where you just want to knock it over. Anyway, it was time to sort of redo the burbs as well. The burbs were like horribly inefficient. There was just a lot of big squares with wasted space in them, sort of thing, which is fine near the strip and for the party zone, because we added I added all these like little designs and stuff in between, which is okay because the buildings surrounding it were bigger. But out in the burbs where the houses are smaller and stuff like that, I wanted to redesign it and make it look a little bit more European again, a bit less like a grid. So I just went a little bit crazy in the burbs. But I also wanted to pack people in like sardines, and that was something I really enjoyed doing in the Fargo city as well. So I thought we'll extend that out to the burbs, at least make the burbs a little bit less sort of grid-like, go a little bit crazy with it, make a lot of like single houses, and then with the view of probably extending the burbs beyond the highway, either side really, to the left of where the burbs is, and to the north, the north and the left of the burbs. Anyway, like I said, it was pretty good, sort of ripping it all out. I added lots of paths and parks and all sorts of other stuff for people in the burbs to do, and crucially, they still have access to all of the major roads that they need to get in and out of the city if they have to as well. So once the burbs was ripped out and redesigned, it was time to do the riverside luxury area. I don't know if you remember, that was initially the plan, was to have a riverside luxury area, but it was kind of crappy, and it was sort of being built into the side of a hill as well, which isn't the best. As you get sort of close to the coast of the rivers and stuff like that, the elevation starts to drop off, and then when you build houses and roads, you get like these ugly cliffs. Especially now in snowfall, there's a rain effect in the non-snowy maps, and it makes it look like a glistening mountain of shit. So we wanted to try to see if we could avoid that. But also, the area that the luxury riverside houses and stuff were in just needed to look a little bit more like it was part of the city center. So I added a whole bunch of parks and redesigned it a little bit to look kind of like a mix of the burbs, but also maybe with some sort of city center, the built up area in mind as well. So again, we went a little bit crazy, just sort of made a lot of extra roads and sort of dead ends and stuff like that. But it seems okay. It seems quite nice. I'm pretty happy with it anyway. And there we go. Revamp of the city center. Well, more or less complete. There's still a lot of work to do. There's still a couple of little bits and pieces that need to be done. But I think so far this is looking a lot better. And maybe a little bit more European as well, which is a good thing, actually. We wanted Sipscity to use the European tile set. We needed to make the city look a little bit more European. And I think so far, so good, right? I think we're sort of just breaking even in terms of money. I don't know if you saw in the time lapse, but we were really running out of money in a major way at one point. But it looks like we've gotten back on top. We're at plus 14 big ones every week, which is pretty good. But that'll continue to rise as we sort of start to meet demands and start building stuff or whatever. So here's some of the neighborhoods completed. We've got Bryan Hills here. This is like a new sort of luxury neighborhood. It's not like super luxury though, because there's a gigantic cargo yard right behind it. But that's okay for now. I think that's only going to be temporary for now. There's a couple of new offices and stuff in here too. The strip is looking pretty nice. Look at some of these cool hotels. Like the Hotel Intercontinental is moved in. We've got a Best Eastern, which is of course the direct rival to Best Western. We've got another Best Eastern, just for good measure, and a Crest Resorts. A lot of these are sort of hotels that we saw like in the Fargo city as well, near the Winter Wonderland, which is pretty cool. We've got this like sort of built up area here, which is looking, well, very European. and it's just sort of acting as a divide between the city center and the party zone. Party zone's been cut down a little bit. Brian Hill's sort of moved in and cut it down, but the party zone is looking, well, much the same, really. It hasn't changed much. We added these like little design things in the middle so that people could go in here and get their party on in a field or on a path, like in between all the buildings, which is kind of cool. We've added this nice little sort of neighborhood down here. These are like offices. We've got Uncle Phil Heights. We've decided to name this area Uncle Phil Heights. Well, I say we. I mean, I decided to name it lovingly in reference to Uncle Phil. May he rip in peace for all of eternity. Anyway, we still want this to be sort of like a luxury area. We're going to add some more houses and stuff in here. There's still a little bit to do, a little bit of tidying up to do, but we'll come to that eventually. We've got this nice little park here, which is sort of like a centerpiece for this area, which is kind of cool. Place for people to come out here and have their lunch or do crack on their lunch hour or whatever. And then, of course, we have the Burbs, which has been revamped. Looks a little bit better. Still needs a bit of work. Still needs some trees and some paths and stuff like that. And we probably need to enable high-tech housing when we can afford it, so that we don't get stuck with another prison colony as we did in Fargo. See, look at all these little condos. I think maybe I just need to get some more mods for like smaller houses or something so that we're not just stuck with the condos. So these are almost maxed out too in terms of you know, desirability or like the land value around or whatever. And once that gets to max, then we're going to be stuck with all of these like prison condos or whatever. So going forward with Sipscity, well, hopefully you'll be pleased to know that we are going to continue with Sipscity for sure. Like I was saying, Sipscity needs to be the best city, right? Like we can't have Fargo looking better than Sipscity. So already there's a little bit of rivalry. Sipscity has a lot going for it. It's summer all the time here for one, which is a huge plus, which means that people who are thinking of coming to stay in some of these fantastic hotels and get their party on in a major way at the party zone are in for a real treat if they enjoy sweating all the time. As opposed to Fargo, where you're going to go and just like freeze your balls off all the time. So we need to make sure that this city is the best. I mean, Old Town is not the best, and probably next time when we come to Sipscity, we'll revamp Old Town, design it better, make it look better. It just looks like a piece of shit right now. It's actually almost shaped like a piece of shit as well. It needs to be sorted out. This needs to be sorted out as well. It's not really working, and it's not very nice. This will get sorted out too, but we'll do that next time. And then going forward, of course, we need to sort out these industrial areas. I'll probably download some mods to get some better looking industrial buildings as well. I like those like big sort of liquid and gas containers and stuff. We need some big ones of those, and we'll find a suitable spot for all of that. Whew, holy, really waffly. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the time lapse. I actually for once recorded while I was just mucking around and designing stuff or whatever. Not having to provide commentary over top while I'm doing stuff means that I actually can just take my time to make things look a little bit better and stuff. I think it's paid off. I think it's looking pretty good. Anyway, we're not going to end just now because there's actually a couple of things that we want to do today before we sign off. And that's, well, we need to add a university. People of Sipscity are pretty dumb, and they need to be smarter. They need to get SMRT in a major way, and we're going to build a university. Actually, we're going to create like an area down here for the university. We're not just going to like shove it into some grid or whatever. We're going to give it its own space. We're going to try our best to make it look like it's got faculty buildings and stuff like that too, which would be pretty nice, but we'll have to see. And we'll just make a nice area for people to come to get their learn on in a major way, which is nice. You know, everybody wants to come to a city and learn. Maybe they don't want to come to a city and learn that has trees along the roads, though. Is that too posh, do you think? I'm not sure, actually. Anyway, we'll go for straight roads, I think. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to sort of carve like a bit of an area. I think it can be like a pretty large area. We want lots of trees in here and stuff too, and we want paths and everything. We just want like this big sort of complex, you know, and then we want to just be able to call it like, you know, Sipscity University or something. Because universities, I don't know if you've ever been to one in real life or whatever. I know not everybody goes to university or whatever, but usually like campuses are huge, right? Like they're really big, and they have a lot of different buildings in them, because you can take all sorts of stuff at university, right? You don't just have to take gym, which is easy. Well, it's not actually. I mean, you have to work out a lot and stuff. But like, if you went to high school and you took like a lot of gym classes or whatever, it was always considered to be like, you know, the easy credit. You know, oh yeah, you know, gym class. You don't even really need to go and stuff. And all you do is you play volleyball and you get a credit or whatever. I don't think you can do that necessarily at university. I think you actually have to take something sort of a little bit more worthwhile. I'm not saying that gym class is not worthwhile, because obviously if you want to become a professional athlete, you probably need to take gym class. But I'm just saying, if you're doing it for the sole purpose of slacking, maybe consider taking something else like puppy breeding 101 or, I don't know, underwater basket weaving or something like that. You know, something that you can actually, you know, put some elbow grease into, you know, like a proper trade. All right, so we're going to call this Sipscity University Way. Okay, and it's just going to be this sort of shape here. We're going to add the university to the shape. We can't really actually afford to place a university just yet, but look at the university with like the European tile set. It looks quite nice, doesn't it? It looks like something straight up out of Berlin or something. Like, I don't know. It looks like the Berlin Chamber of Commerce. Having said that, I have no idea what that building looks like or even if it exists or whatever, but I like to think that I know what I'm talking about. Oh man, this looks pretty nice, actually. Okay, so do we want it to have like a commanding view of the waterfront, or do we not want it, like, we want it to be sort of central, right? So maybe we should have like a road that cuts like through here-ish. We don't want it to be on this cliff. I don't know if you caught what I was saying during the time lapse, but like these cliffs, especially when it starts to rain, they glisten and they're brown, and I don't know. I don't really like the brown glisten from the rain. It actually does look like a mountain of shit. All right, so Sipscity University Way will have some sort of like, I think we'll go for something like this, right? So we'll have the university actually on here, and then we'll have like a couple of ways to access the university, being that and that. And then actually we could upgrade this to be tree line too, because we want it to be like Ivy League, right? We want everybody from far and wide to come to this university and consider it like the best in the whole world. How does that look? Oh yeah, it looks quite nice. I mean, it's like pretty bare, and also for some reason, I don't know, it looks like it's almost like the university fell from the sky and like made like a little bit of an impact crater, because like look at these hills around it. It's kind of weird actually. Okay, cool. So we now have a university, and we have like a little university way as well. I think what we're going to want to add in here is parks and stuff, and maybe a little bit of leisure as well. Like there's a beach volleyball court here. I mean, this is perfect if you ask me. This is like something where we could be like, yeah, well, we specialize in volleyball training here at Sipscity University. So if you want to come here and become like a world-class volleyball player, this is the place to go for you. I don't know if this needs to actually be tree-lined. I think this could just be normal, but we will tree-line around here, except for the volleyball part, because once you come in and you do the volleyball, it needs to be like a little bit more industrial, so no trees. Okay, great. So the volleyball court, which was here, can go like here. And we sort of want the university to look like, you know, from a bird's eye point of view, we want it to look like, kind of like the Winter Wonderland in Fargo, right? It's got to look like a bit of a complex, and it doesn't really matter what buildings are in it, as long as it looks cool from the air. But, I mean, it'll look cool no matter what. Okay, so, volleyball lessons are on the cards. This is great. What else? Maybe we could have, like, a skate park, so that people could come here and learn how to become the next Tony Hawk, courtesy of Sipscity University. Why not, right? Look at that. We now have our very own skate park as well at Sipscity University. We've also got to call this Sipscity U with an S, right? Can I get it? Yes. Sipscity U. That's what people will call it for shorthand as well. Like where I grew up in Ottawa, we had Ottawa University, and we used to just call it Ottawa U. So why not have a Sipscity U as well? The U, of course, is for university, in case you didn't catch that. What else can we add in here? Do we want buildings? Do we want like some landmark buildings, like some unique buildings? There's a whole bunch to choose from. There's a fantastic fountain, which might look nice in front of the university. Actually, I'm thinking fantastic fountain Hell yeah. Look at that. Whoa, that looks great. I mean, it is sort of like threatening to slide off into the river. There's not really too much that we can do about that, but holy crap. I mean, look at this already is looking pretty sweet. I need to download some mods for like a parking lot and stuff. I want to have a big parking lot over here, but I'll probably do that off cam and we can look at it like next episode or whatever, because it's a little bit cumbersome downloading mods and stuff while I'm in the middle of recording. I hope you understand. But that should be pretty cool. Okay, is there anything else unique building wise that we want to add in here? Like, we can add the pyramids. There's also this, the cinema. Oh my god. Okay, we have to come back to that. We have to add a cinema and also a department store to the city later on. Holy crap, I didn't realize that all of these were in here. This is nuts, actually. We can add, well, this stuff is already added. We haven't added the transport tower, though, but I don't think we're going to. We've also got an official park, which we'll save maybe for later, a stadium, some other big stadiums and stuff, and then a mega stadium. This will be, of course, for our Bon Jovi concerts, but that can come probably later on. There's a lot of dinging and donging happening in the city right now. Oh, look at this. The prison colony is in full effect too. It's already developing. Holy crap. Okay, great. So, the next thing that we probably want to do is add paths. We want normal paths. We want bike paths. We want people to be able to access all of this stuff with ease, right? And I think, can we actually like run a path? Oh, that kind of works, actually. That's nice. Okay, so we want to have like a nice winding path that takes you down here, because all the buildings need to connect, right? Like, this is like a thing for universities. Like, you have to have it so that you have paths that connect up to everything. You have to be able to walk to your classes and stuff. You know, if you're trying to like romance your girlfriend or whatever, you might want to say, "Hey, baby, why don't you let me carry your books for you?" and stuff like that. You know, these are all things that happen in a university that you need to be aware of. But you also need to have the facilities to perform as well. You're hardly going to walk like on a dirt path and offer to carry a bag, because what if you trip and graze your knee or something, and then your woman-to-be starts laughing at you? That would not be the best. I wouldn't have thought. So we want to make sure that all of the young Romeos of Sipscity University start off the right way. Look at this. I think we're going to go for like a bit of a... Can this happen? Could it be? I kind of want this to happen, but it's already looking like it's going to look a bit crap. And also it's going to try to... Why is it trying to elevate like that? I don't get it. Oh, it's because it's like on a bit of a hill. That's it. Oh, it's not actually. Okay, that works. Okay, perfect. That actually worked out. Okay, so we want to like connect up to like these corners as well, because there's places to cross. It doesn't need to be totally symmetrical as well. The bird's eye view of this, it's going to be like a nice big complex. There's going to be some trees and stuff. Oh yeah, we need to be able to offer people the opportunity to get here by bike. So this bike path is still actually a thing there's no actual road access there, so we're gonna have to sort that out. We might need to make it so that there's a road coming into here to connect. There's a road here that connects it all up, and there can be a road here too. There needs to be a road here because some of these people will actually want to come to this university from the burbs, which is understandable, right? So we need to give them some sort of access, although there is already a little bit of access. Okay, so we want to probably give people like a stunt jump here, I think. Are we going to go for a stunt jump? Yeah, we probably are going to go for a stunt jump realistically. So we'll have the stunt jump sort of go like this, come around here, and then back down onto here, and that should be fine. Okay, great. So that's the bike path there. Of course, they can walk their bike across the street and then hopefully get into the university sort of area as well. And actually, we can make that a little bit easier for them by just doing that. And then we add a nice big bike path all around here so that people can, on their break, if they don't want to smoke crack or carry a bag for a girl or do other things that you do in a university, they can just go for a little bit of a bike around the campus, which is pretty nice, actually. All right, what else do we need? I think we probably want to add some office buildings, which seems kind of weird, right? But We need like an admin area and like a couple of bits and pieces just sort of like off campus, right? Like, or sort of like on campus, sorry, but like out of the main building, because this is where everybody's going to do all of their learning and stuff. But then people need to be able to like file reports against students who like failed gym and stuff like in some of these sort of admin offices. So we'll add like a couple of offices here and there, and maybe just like along here too. We can have like a couple of nice offices. I think we could probably get some big offices there. And do we want to get like just a couple of offices in here too? That kind of works actually. So all of these are going to be like European themed now too, which is quite nice. They'll like stick together and stuff, and they'll maintain like the theme of the city. Okay, perfect. And last but certainly not least, we need to plop many trees. And this is what's going to sort of like tie it all together and make it look really nice. I kind of like giving a lot of space to something like this. I don't know. It's not something that like a lot of people would normally do, I don't think. You know, like I think most people, as soon as they get like a university unlocked or whatever, they would just sort of create a square that big somewhere, shove the university into the middle of a neighborhood or whatever. But, you know, in a real city, I'm not saying that Sipscity is actually a real city or even modeled against a real city, but in a real city, you'd have something like this for a university. You'd have like a big area for a university to sprawl out into with like, you know, multiple buildings and facilities and other shit. I kind of like that we have a place for people to learn how to skateboard in Sipscity. That's really nice, actually. Okay, a couple of trees here and there. We're not going to go like full ham on the trees. We're just going to make it look a little bit realistic, you know? Like, we need some open space for people to have a picnic in and whatever, but we need a couple of trees interspersed in between, especially like lining some of the paths and stuff. I like having trees lining paths and sidewalks, especially. But we don't need to go too much. Like, we don't need to fill up all of this space with trees, for instance. We can just sort of concentrate on peppering them around some of the corners, filling up some of like the awkward empty spaces. I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but like sometimes some of the space just looks a little bit sparse or whatever, and you want to get like a couple of more trees or like clumps of trees in there just to sort of fill it up a bit. We'll get like a couple of trees up in here. Man, I love that plopping and thudding sound it makes too. It's like super therapeutic. It's probably my favorite thing to do. So like when I'm doing some of this stuff off camera and like, you know, the stuff that I did during the time lapse or whatever, I usually listen to music, so I can't actually hear the plopping and thudding, but you know, music of course is also very nice and therapeutic too. But when I can't listen to music, nothing reassures me more than the gentle plopping and thudding of many, many trees. And of course, if you watched me live stream some of this like a while back or whatever, you'll probably remember that I spent a lot of time just placing trees. So much so that actually people made some emotes about it in Twitch chat or whatever, which is pretty fun too. Okay, a couple of trees there. We need a couple of trees here because this is looking a little bit sparse and kind of awkward or whatever. Get some trees in the middle here. We can actually make like a bit of a mini forest in here, I think. So this will be like the Sipscity U campus forest. And of course, this is where people will go out to learn like falconry 101 and survival skills. Maybe we can like fly Bear Grylls in to actually do like a little bit of a talk or whatever. Teach people how to like piss on a towel and put it on themselves to like, you know, keep cool in the summer and stuff like that. And do we want like a couple of trees here? Yeah, we probably want a couple of trees in here. We need some like up in around here as well, just to sort of fill it up a little bit, but not too much. And we probably want a couple of paths that lead to some of these buildings too, right? Like we could probably shove a path in here so that it looks like, you know, if you're at that building, you could just take this path and get to the park quite easily. Similarly here too, we probably want to do something like this where we sort of connect it up. Again, it doesn't need to be like symmetrical or anything, as long as it sort of looks nice from the air, which so far I think it kind of does actually. Okay, let's add this here too. And do we need one here? I think we probably do. We probably need one to like connect up to... No. Not like that. It ruined the bike path. I can't believe it. Why did it actually ruin the bike path like that? Oh, that's really annoying. We had this perfect bike path all ready to go and everything. Okay, it has not ruined the bike path. I guess connecting up a footpath to the bike path is like some sort of big no-no. You can't really do it. So let's go with something like this. Okay, that's fine. Cool. All right, a couple more trees just to sort of finish it off, make it look a little bit more complete. I think it's looking pretty good now, and I think we probably need some water pipes down here too. Look at now that snowfall's in, right? We've got the heating pipes and everything. So, of course, I own Snowfall, so I get all of the stuff from the expansion. I don't know what you get from just the content patch still. I haven't really looked into it. But you might actually get trams, and you might get some of the other stuff. I'm not sure. Having said that, actually, we could set up some trams in Sipscity before long, now that they're available, because that'd be pretty great. All right, so we have tree-lined roads here, and then we have all of this sort of green area. And, of course, this is, like I was saying, for students to get in here, get their learn on, practice volleyball and skateboarding, maybe take some forestry classes with Bear Grylls or some falconry or whatever. And if you work here, you probably work in some of these like little admin buildings that are like on campus or whatever, with perfect footpaths and bike paths to get to all the places that you need to. Okay, so we need to connect this up with a bus and some other stuff, which I'll probably do later. But I actually think that that looks pretty good and fits in quite well with the rest of Sipscity as it stands. Holy shit. All right, well, there you go. Another exciting and riveting day in a facelifted Sipscity. I personally think it looks a lot better than it did. I hope you agree. You'll have to let me know. Leave a comment or let me know on Reddit or whatever if you like the way that this is going, and if you enjoyed the time-lapse as well. If you did enjoy the time-lapse, and enough people do enjoy it, or the feedback is like resoundingly great for the time-lapse, I'll do more for sure, because in between episodes, I'm always building stuff. There was a huge post on Reddit recently where people were like, oh yeah, you know, Sips just does everything off camera and then comes in for 10 minutes and talks about all the stuff he did or whatever. So I thought, okay, fine. I'll do a time lapse. I mean, most of it, I think to do this, it took me about 3 hours. It was a good sort of 3 hours of messing around and just sitting here listening to music and playing City Skylines. But it's something that I definitely love to do. So I didn't see it like at all as a waste of time or whatever. But obviously, not recording stuff. You know, people get, oh, here we go. Look at this. Just in time. It's just started raining. Look at the rain effects. And see what I mean by the glistening shit? Look at that. It looks terrible. We need some stuff. We need like some walls or something there to fix it up. But this is pretty cool. Look at this. What I like about the rain effect is that, look at, see, like the pavements and everything get wet. And like, look at in the city as well. So some of the roads and stuff start to get really wet. And as it rains, they get more and more soaked. Look at that. You can see like it's like glistening off the roads. It's pretty fucking nice, isn't it? It's a really cool effect. Not so much the shit hills, though. It's got to be said. All right, great. Excellent. If you like this and you enjoy this series and you like what's been done here today and how things are looking going forward or whatever, please consider leaving a like. It's always very helpful and very much appreciated. Alternatively, if you don't like this game or you don't like the series, you don't like my content or whatever, feel free to leave a dislike as well. I encourage both. There's a button for either, so you might as well use either one, right? Great. All right, as usual, thanks very much for watching. Join me next time where we will probably do some work on Old Town to get it looking more like an old town in the first place and fix it up because it looks pretty hideous right now. Look, let's just get it out of the camera shot so that we can look at all of the new stuff. Perfect. Excellent. Well, as usual, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.